This is Pastors Live, a Rev FM production podcast. Join Pastors Dave, Ty, and Shane for a fresh, fun, and often unpredictable take on faith, the Bible, and the world around us.
Shane, it's Monday.
It's Monday.
Gary, it's Monday.
Monday.
I love Monday, as you guys know. I'm a big Monday guy.
I am too.
I love Mondays.
I do too.
Right?
It's my day with my wife.
There you go.
It's a great day to love.
And you know what today is? It's Monday, July 7th. People have tuned in to Pastors Live because they're wondering, what in the snot are those idiots going to talk about today?
That's true. That's true. In the studio.
Look what we're talking about.
We are talking about Proverbs. No, I'm just kidding. It's not.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
It's Forgiveness Day.
It's Forgiveness Day.
Forgiveness.
Tell me the truth, Dave. Do you forgive me? Because it's also Tell the Truth Day.
Is it Tell the Truth? It is the truth. Look at that.
This is a good day.
To tell the truth. You know what? To Tell the Truth was a great game show when I was a kid, To Tell the Truth. You know what would be a great game show today? Forgiveness.
Forgive.
Would that be a fun game show where they bring on people secretly? They don't know who's behind the partition, and the host says, what you don't know is behind that partition is that dirty dog that did you wrong, and you have the opportunity to forgive.
And they're like blacked out, silhouetted, right?
Right.
And this person A did this, and this to you. Do you forgive him? Yeah, I don't remember that. I'll forgive him. And then they turn around and it's your mother-in-law. Ah!
She's been dead for years.
Oh, man.
No, listen, it is Forgiveness Day. We're going to talk about that in just a couple of minutes. Pastor Shane recently did a teaching on forgiveness. Actually, the title of the teaching was So Will My Heavenly Father Do So to You.
Yeah.
And you can go to our YouTube channel or to the website. And actually, I think the YouTube channel is where you can find that now.
Yeah,
correct?
YouTube, absolutely, YouTube. If you scroll on Facebook, you can find it, but it's easier on YouTube.
Yeah, and I can't imagine anybody listening to Pastors Live who has not subscribed to the Water Springs YouTube channel. That wouldn't make sense to me.
It wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, it'd be silly. Owning a television, having YouTube, or a computer and having YouTube, and not subscribing to Water Springs. Come on. It's a silly thought. So be sure that you have subscribed to our channel. And then when you go on there, look for Pastor Shane's teaching on forgiveness, and we'll talk a little bit more about forgiveness here in just a minute. But we do want to remind you, you are listening to Pastors Live, and this is one of the podcast ministries of Water Springs Church here in Idaho Falls, Idaho. That's Calvary Chapel of Idaho Falls, but the name of our church is Water Springs Church. And we record these podcasts in the studios of Rev Radio, which is the radio broadcast ministry of Water Springs Church. And you're on several different stations, yeah, Gary?
Yeah.
Right, so
Yeah,
all up and down the valley.
Yeah.
And on the worldwide interwebs.
Yes.
No,
Anywhere.
correct me if I'm wrong,
You're
because
wrong.
I'm wrong a lot.
You're wrong.
But
Not necessarily about this, but you're wrong.
we do both email Pastors Live at the Rev.fm if you want to be involved, but we also have the ability now to call in, right?
Right.
How do they do that, Gary?
Yeah, so 208-569-0732.
And you can leave us a message. We'll play your
leave a
recording
message,
over the air.
Right.
If it's appropriate, right?
Yeah.
No
Otherwise,
no
we
crank
just get
calls,
it,
right?
Otherwise, we just get it in writing.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
but,
absolutely. But yeah, if
be
you want to
nice.
interact with us that way.
Even if you don't like us, be nice.
Yeah.
We
And
get those all the time,
And
and
we'll
that's
be
okay.
nice to you.
Absolutely. You dirty dog. No, we're kidding. I'm kidding.
We forgive you. Forgive us. Anywho, the joy of the Lord is our strength. You are listening to Pastors Live. Dave, how was your 4th of July weekend?
It was dynamic. It was explosive. It was bright and loud.
Nice.
So, Shane, you have dog sat for us, and you love Flynn, and Flynn loves you and Gabby.
It's true.
Flynn is a bigger baby than Shep. Remember, my Shep was.
He did not like fireworks.
My German Shepherd, Shep, he was a very, very good boy, but he spent many hours in the bathtub because he would just flop over into the bathtub when loud noises and fireworks and that kind of thing would happen, and we'd give him something to get by and help him relax a little bit. And lo and behold, I'm walking down the hallway and this firework had gone off, and I was going to check on Flynn, who, his bed is in our laundry room, and I walked in there and there's no Flynn, and what in the world? And I heard something. I turned around, looked across the hallway in the bathroom. Guess where Flynn was?
In the bathtub.
There you go. He was in Shep's old spot. And not shaking and quivering, but definitely looking at me like,
what's going
on,
Dad?
What was that? And are we okay? And is it the apocalypse? And so I went through some eschatology with him and explained to him that it was not the apocalypse,
just
nor
a birth pain.
The four horsemen. And he seemed to be okay. He's a dispensationalist, as you know.
Good. That's good. if he's a true dispensationalist.
Well, he was leaning toward reform there for a while.
Oh, okay. I can bear with that.
Well, I had to bring him back in a little bit, talk him in off the ledge. But, and Iona, of course, is Catholic, and she doesn't care about fireworks.
Right.
She just sits there like it's no big deal. So,
well, we were up all night because we have a
Pastors Live at the Rev.fm.
Right. We have a 5-month-old daughter who didn't get to sleep very much on the 4th of July. But other than that, we're good.
Yeah. Gary, how was your 4th, buddy?
It was really good.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Did you guys go down and watch the big Melaleuca fireworks show, or do you stay home?
No, we usually do, but we didn't this year.
Yeah.
Enjoyed the parade and then did some camping and four-wheeling and stuff. So that was good.
Four-wheeling on the 4th. I like that.
Yeah,
That's cool. You know what?
You're my hero.
I seriously have all kinds of ideas running through my head for family ministry next year.
Nice.
Four-wheeling on the 4th. How cool would that be?
Yeah.
Where'd you guys go?
We went to, it's just outside of Lamont.
Nice.
So just outside of Ashton
Yeah.
area. So, yeah.
That's
stuff.
beautiful. I love that area up there, man.
Yeah.
Do you guys, when you're up there, do you go to Frost Top?
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You get
almost every time.
The root beer float and all that?
Yep.
Shane, do you go to Frost Top? Do you like it?
I don't know what that is, so I'm going
You do too. The big giant root beer float deal there in Ashton.
In Ashton, yeah.
When you're going toward Island Park.
I don't ever stop. I just keep going.
Actually, you do stop because it's a four-way stop there.
I don't ever see that, so I'm gonna have
Gary,
to go. I'm gonna have to go.
How is that possible?
I don't even know, Shane.
Yeah, I know.
What's
Shane,
happening right now?
It is
pathetic.
the big event at Ashton.
Do you know where Ashton is?
I
Shane?
do know where Ashton is, but it literally, this last weekend when we were talking, or 2 weekends ago, we were talking about the percentage of the denarii to the years is 0.0001%. That's about how much room Ashton takes up in my brain. So
Wow. We have a Bible church up there that advertises on Rev Radio.
I love you guys.
Can you be a little nicer to Ashton?
I love you guys. And now I want to go get a root beer float is all I'm saying.
All I'm saying is, how do you miss it? It's a 2-story root beer float.
I don't get
It's
up
the
there
biggest
much.
honking thing in Ashton. Except, there's Dave's Market, which I always,
You love Dave's Market.
When you come around that curve into Ashton, and you have the four-way stop.
Yeah.
There's a 2-story root beer float on your left-hand side. If you go right, you're going toward Mesa Falls.
Right.
If you turn left, you're pulling into Frost Top.
That's crazy. I guess I just, the word says
Crazy
do not
is the right word.
Do not wander to the left or to the right, but stay on the straight and narrow. That's all
I'm
I
having
do,
a hard
man.
time forgiving you for this.
I'm just trying to tell the truth.
I'm not sure you are.
I don't know.
Wow.
I have never had a root beer float in Ashton. I hardly ever stop in Ashton. I just keep going.
I'm going to take you into a new world. You go
A
to
whole new
Judd's,
world.
don't you? You like Judd's.
I have gone to Judd's before.
Okay, you and I went there together once with James.
Yes.
We had a good visit there. I'm going to take you to a whole new world. Stop at Frost Top. And Gary, have you had their pastrami burger?
Ooh,
Yes.
there you go.
Dude,
Carrie loves their pastrami.
man, your arteries just tighten up.
Yeah, they do.
You order it and your arteries go.
Yeah.
It is amazing. It is amazing. And then you get the root beer float to go with it. Let me just tell you, A&W root beer may fade in your memory after you've had it.
Nice.
Now, I'm going to give you another piece of advice.
This is another salted peanut.
Well, no, it could be. Don't get the coffee.
Don't get the coffee.
No, their coffee's not good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's almost... Well, never mind. It's on a different level. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, get the root beer float. That's what they're famous for.
Root beer float.
I think that's why they make their coffee the way they do.
So that you get the root beer
You want
float.
the root beer float to kill the taste of the coffee.
There you go. There you go.
No, it's wonderful. So Ashton, you went up there for four-wheeling, Gary. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
So, pardon me. Hey, I hope everybody went to church this past weekend. We do have a couple of emails. I'd like to get to at least one of them. And then, Shane, I'd love to hear your take on forgiveness. Today in our reading, we are in Acts chapter 22. We're in Proverbs 20, verses 16 through 18, Psalm 7. I love Psalm 7. I'm just going to put that out there for you. And Jeremiah 5. We're making our way through Jeremiah. I love Jeremiah as he's ministering to Judah and addressing their idolatry. I don't have it in front of me, but as I recall, Shane, isn't there something like 14 or 15, maybe it's 14 messages from Jeremiah? Like there's 14 sermons in the book of Jeremiah, and it's pretty amazing. And you talk about a messenger of God who kind of experiences that roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah.
And a guy who's pretty transparent about his disappointments, either with the people, with himself, even with God, which is hard for people sometimes to understand. Like, well, if you actually verbalize disappointment with God, and Philip Yancey has a great book on that. Disappointment with God is actually the book by Philip Yancey. There's another one by Yancey that I love. Your God is Too Small. Boom, mind blower. But it reminds me of this email that we got from Hanson. And Hanson is thanking us for our response to the previous email, right? But Hanson writes, a friend had shared with me that pastors can often hide behind the, quote, mask because they're expected to act in a certain way as if their problems aren't as bad as someone else. I do have faith, and I believe that God covers all and will conquer the bad that has been done to us, but I believe that most pastors, and the key phrase there, I believe, Hanson believes this, that most pastors are not transparent, like they don't deal with daily struggles and challenges like a majority of the body of Christ. And Hanson, again, I appreciate your honesty. I really, truly do. It's Tell the Truth Day, and Hanson, that's truthful.
That's truthful.
Right?
Right.
Can I address a couple of things, Shane? Then I'd love to hear you address this to kind of wrap up the program. But we still have about 8 minutes left here. But the mask comment. This is just my humble opinion. I don't think most pastors have a mask. I don't believe that. But I will say this. In Leviticus, when Moses, under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, is giving qualifications for Levitical ministry and indeed even the priesthood, which, remember, every priest is a Levite, but not every Levite is a priest. One of the things he says is that to be in that ministry, you could not have eczema, meaning you can't be thin-skinned. Pastors are not supposed to be thin-skinned. You can go back and read 1 Timothy 3, and you can read Titus, where Paul is giving the qualifications for that office of pastor. You cannot be thin-skinned, and to put it in the vernacular, you can't be a crybaby, where every time you turn around, I got a boo-boo. No. I'm sorry, that's not supposed to be the case. It doesn't mean that we aren't emotional. It doesn't mean that we don't have emotions. And it doesn't mean that bad things don't happen to us. Bad things do happen to us. We do have problems, and we do have boo-boos, okay? But pastors aren't supposed to get in the pulpit, cut themselves open, and bleed all over the flock every time they turn around. Why? Because the key word there is flock. We are the under-shepherds, and sheep follow the shepherd, the good shepherd, Jesus Christ. We're the under shepherds who are supposed to be consistently, persistently, constantly pointing the sheep to Jesus, not constantly saying, hey, I read this passage and now I'd like to take the next 20 minutes and talk about me and my boo-boos. Please feel sorry for me. No, sorry, that's not the job of the pastor. It doesn't mean we don't struggle. It doesn't mean we don't have challenges. It means that we have a job to do, and our job is to point the flock to the good shepherd, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love what you're saying, Hanson, because are there pastors that put on a mask? When you use the word mask, the first thing that pops to my head is hypocrisy. Mm-hmm. There's a difference between transparency and hypocrisy, 100%, yep. Right? One, there is a level of hubris and arrogance and pride, and then the other, there is actually restraint. And so I agree 100% that if you are putting on a mask as a pastor, that is horrible. That's not good. We need less of that in the world, 100%.
Couldn't agree more with you, Shane.
But I do think that there is a difference between that and being transparent. One of the things that I think is misunderstood is that there's an expectation from, I don't want to say all of the church because it's definitely not, but I think there's an expectation from a immature or young in their faith stance where it's like the guy who's in the pulpit is expected to not have the same principles that I have, right? So, for example, what I mean by that is, well, are you transparent with every single person you come across? I would argue that the answer is no. We are not transparent with 100% everybody else, but I think somewhere along the line, people have started to expect and say, well, the pastor's got to be transparent with every single person ever.
That would be a foolish thing to do.
That would be foolish, right. And that's where the self-control and
when you go through the drive-through, either at the bank or fast food or whatever it is,
right.
And the person very kindly says to you, hey, how you doing today? Do you spend the next 15 minutes in that drive-through line saying, well, my husband this, my kids that, my car that, I'm behind on the rent, and my boss wasn't nice? No, of course not.
No.
What do you typically say? Hey, doing great. How are you?
Or, hey, doing okay, or whatever.
Or you
right?
might even say, I've had better days, but I'm on the right side of the grass. Somehow,
whatever.
You're not transparent with every single person. Right. That would be foolish.
And somewhere along the line, I don't know.
But if your doctor asks, that's right?
Yeah, that's a different.
Yeah. If your doctor says, how you doing today? Hey, you know what? My knee is creaking, my back hurts, and I can't keep anything down. Of course, you have to be transparent.
I agree with Hanson 100%, but in the right balance, right? I need to be transparent with people. I don't have to be transparent with all people, right?
Right.
And that is very it's very telling when you have a healthy relationship with a community of people, right? You will share transparency with those around you, 100%.
Yeah, of course.
But you don't have to share transparency with everyone. And I think somewhere along the line, somehow the church culture kind of adopted this, well, he's got to be different. The standards for him are different than the standards for us. And I just disagree with that because we're all called on the same level field of Christ. Yes, there are different qualifications for a pastor or a minister.
For office and all that,
for the office and the, you got to be able to teach, for example, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Of course. But, if Jesus is pretty clear, treat your neighbor as yourself, right? You want that standard to be the same. And I think somewhere along the lines, we're kind of imposing on that office, so to speak. And I don't say that because, oh my gosh, I'm a pastor and I'm speaking on behalf of all pastors.
Right.
I'm actually not. I'm just speaking from what my heart is trying to say. Just common sense, right? Just spiritual common sense is like, man, you don't bleed over everybody. You share and you're transparent and you're real and you're authentic, but you don't have to bleed and open up to the depths of your heart with everyone. That's actually dangerous because as a leader, and if you're a husband, you know this, there are certain things that you kind of just have to take the hit. If you told your wife every single thing that you're carrying, it would be dangerous. You would overwhelm your wife. You'd give her anxiety. You would bring certain things in that shouldn't be there. But if there's that thing, whatever it is, and I'm not saying hide sin from your wife. Oh, no, that's not. But there are certain situations.
If I share with my wife every counseling appointment I had, hey, how was your day today? Well, I met with Bob and Sue, and Bob's got a porn problem, and Sue is drinking like a fish. Honey, how was your day?
Yeah.
Number one, I would be a bad pastor.
Right.
I would be a bad husband because she doesn't need to know about Bob and Sue because we sit with them on Sunday or they're in our small group or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that would be putting a dark cloud over Sylvia's head.
Right.
And I've broken trust with Bob and Sue.
Absolutely. And here's another illustration too. Like, if the president of the United States told the American people everything that he knows and everything that we're involved in,
we'd all be building bunkers.
There'd be paranoia. There'd be an anxiety. That's the type of situation that I'm trying to say. I hope that makes sense, Hanson. I agree with you to a certain extent.
Yeah, no hypocrisy.
No hypocrisy, no mask, but transparency. It's not just this blank check that's for everyone. You have to have transparency with people you trust.
You have to discern.
And you have to be authentic, as Pastor Ty likes to say, right?
Yeah.
But you have to be above reproach as well as a pastor and know when the right time to vent is and when the right time to restrain is.
Right. I would go back to Isaiah. Comfort ye, yea, comfort ye my people.
Yeah.
That's the message of the Lord for us as shepherds of God's flock. We recognize that we too are sheep, that he ultimately is the shepherd, the good shepherd, but that he has also said to us as pastors, hey, feed my lambs, not, bleed all over.
Right. Absolutely.
So,
and I know we're out of time, but I do want to include this because I bet you we'll probably get some emails about it if I don't. What I am not saying is that pastors should have zero accountability at all. That's never in the question.
Also dangerous.
Right. That's very dangerous.
Maybe we can talk about that tomorrow.
When you have the refined transparency, that comes with the accountability.
There it is.
All right. God bless you guys. Hasta la pasta.
You've been listening to Pastors Live, a Rev FM production podcast. Join us again for more Bible talk, laughter, and unexpected tangents. Questions or feedback? Pastors Live at therev.fm. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a review.